The Toyota Vitz is a staple in the Zimbabwean economy. Earlier models were everywhere, but over the years they've been overshadowed by the Honda Fit and Toyota Aqua in the compact hatchback category. These days you don't see them as often, but every now and then one pops up on the road. And if you're hunting for something cheap, light on fuel, easy enough to maintain, and still different from the endless sea of Aquas, the Vitz is worth a look. Get it? Aqua? Sea? You caught that one, didn't you? Don't pretend you didn't. I know you did. This generation of Vitz follows Toyota's keen look and under priority design philosophy. Now that sounds like some marketing fluff, right? But in this case, it actually checks out. Keen look is about giving the car a sharp, distinctive front end, and under priority emphasizes a wide planted stance with a big trapezoidal lower grille. It was true of the Toyota Aqua and Toyotas of this generation, and it's true of this Vitz here. If you look at the front end of this Vitz, you can clearly see what they mean. The nose comes to a point right where the badge sits, and that point is highlighted by the hood lines that flow straight down into it. The badge itself is framed by two silver strips that stretch into the headlights, piercing through before curving upwards. Down lower, the bumper has these comma-shaped curves at its widest points. At the lowest ends, they almost look a little like race car canards. Inside that section, the trapezoid shape of the grille is obvious, flanked by triangular inserts with vertical slats and chrome-ringed fog lights sitting inside them. And up top, this is fun, you only get one windshield wiper, just like the McLaren F1, Koenigsegg Agera, Ferrari F40, and even a Lamborghini Countach. Mono blades are cool, which makes this car cool, which in turn makes you cool. And you know who else is cool? People who subscribe to this channel. Down the side, there isn't much to say. There's only one main body line, and the mirrors are the same ones you find on a Toyota Aqua or a bunch of other Toyotas. This model does have slim little window visors, handy if it's raining and if you want some fresh air, or if you're parked in the sun and want to let the heat escape without leaving the car wide open. I like how neatly they fit into the body, unlike the ugly bolt-on ones you sometimes see. The only drawback, when you wash the car, they sometimes leave a little line of grime that you have to wipe down separately. Not the end of the world, but a minor inconvenience. Around the back, it's pretty simple. The taillights are easily the highlight. The red outer section looks a lot like the ones that you find on the Toyota CHR, but here they kind of remind me of question marks, or even the scepters carried by Egyptian pharaohs. Aside from that, you get a chrome strip across the middle, a boxy lower bumper, a rather nice looking exhaust cover, and the Vitz badge. One thing you will notice is that the rear looks complete even without a spoiler, which is rare for a hatchback. So why is it called Vitz? Because let's be honest, that's not a normal car name. The name actually comes from the German word Witz, which means wit or cleverness. And that tracks because the Vitz was designed to be a smart little city car, compact, efficient, and easy to live with. Toyota swapped the W for a V, mainly to make it sound more global and a bit more modern, because Vitz doesn't exactly roll off the tongue in every market. As some of you may know, outside Japan, this car isn't even known as the Vitz. In most international markets, it's known as the Toyota Yaris. Same car, different name. The Vitz badge was mainly kept for the Japanese domestic market, and it's the name that stuck here in Zimbabwe because of imports. So yeah, it sounds a bit odd at first, but once you know the meaning, it actually fits the car perfectly. A clever little hatchback built to make city life easier. Now, one thing that actually surprised me about the Vitz is just how many engine options this thing came with. You could get it with a tiny 1-liter engine, step up to a 1.3 liter, then a 1.5 liter, all the way up to a 1.8 liter in the really spicy versions. And that's before you even get into the hybrid models, which combine a 1.5 liter petrol engine with electric assistance for maximum fuel efficiency. But here's the part that really caught me off guard. Somewhere out there in the wild, there is a diesel Toyota Vitz.
Diesel.
You want what?
Diesel.
Diesel. You want diesel?
Yeah.
A diesel Vitz. Just imagine that for a second. A clattery little diesel hatchback quietly minding its business. One thing that might not surprise you though is that this car shares its platform with the Toyota Aqua. I'm pretty sure you noticed it the moment I pointed out the side mirrors and by the sheer amount of times I mentioned the Aqua in this video, which means the space you get inside is more or less the same as in the Toyota Aqua. Here, I'll demonstrate. Let's open up the boot and pull these two knobs. First the one on the right, then the one on the left, pushing the seats down. And with the seats folded, we get a noticeable hump in the floor. Just like in the Toyota Aqua. With the seats folded down, we can fit 4 crates in the car. With the seats up, you get 1 crate in the boot, maybe 2 if you're a bit creative, which again is exactly the same as the Aqua. This isn't ideal if you're regularly carrying a lot of stuff, especially if you also need to fit people in the back, but as a grocery getter, it's perfectly adequate. Closing the boot, we move on to the midsection of the car, starting here at the rear. It's fairly generic and it looks like the window doesn't roll all the way down. Step inside and there's literally nothing going on back here apart from seats and windows. a very utilitarian design. The only creature comforts you get here are headrests, a mat, a single shallow cup holder, and a dome light to keep you company. In fact, I'm not sure these cutouts are even hiding speakers back there. Moving to the front of the car, things get a bit more interesting, and there's more to talk about. Starting on the passenger side door. You get more storage here, and the door design is slightly more detailed. Still generic, but better than the back. As you step inside, there's a small shelf where you can just about place your phone. The lower glove box is a decent size, and the up one is surprisingly bigger than I expected, with a deeper section inside. The cover looks like it's made from some kind of recycled plastic. Not amazing, but not offensive either. We then slide over to the right to find two air vents that fold over into the driver's side. And if you come back to the passenger side for a second, you'll notice the same generic carpet you saw in the rear. Moving down to the lower center of the dash, you've got a 12-volt charging socket, two blanked out switches for the heated seats, and below that, two cup holders and a storage area where you'll have no trouble fitting your phone. Moving further back, you'll find the gear selector, which actually looks a bit better than the one you find in the Toyota Rush. Beyond that, there are two buttons, one for traction control and the other for auto start-stop, followed by slim strips of storage where once again, you can fit your phone. Behind that is a small cup holder and space that honestly, I have no idea what you'd use that for. You also get door bins on either side, but they don't look like they hold anything larger than a small bottle of water. Oh, and there's your lever to open the fuel door. Up top, you've got generic interior lights and sunshades. One has a mirror, the other doesn't, because Toyota decided your passenger doesn't need one apparently. While we're up here, this particular car is fitted with a dash cam. You may have already noticed the one in the back, which I thought was interesting. In the center, you've got a generic infotainment screen, very similar to the one in the Aqua, a massive hazard light button, and below that, buttons and dials for the air conditioning system. I will say, even though they look basic, these controls feel very good to use, very tactile, and take a quick listen. And finally, over on the driver's side, once again, the door is fairly generic. But up here, the windows actually go all the way down. Before stepping in, curiosity got the better of me, and I had to see what this plastic cover was hiding. As it turns out, literally nothing, because the start-stop button was relocated over to the side over here. Before we go any further, let's take another look at that little cubby I glossed over earlier. It really isn't very big, and I reckon the only things that you'll be putting in there are your house keys or maybe the occasional mint. You get the same turbine air vents that you find in the Aqua, and there's nothing particularly special about the steering wheel, except that you do get buttons here to control the gauge cluster on your right. And speaking of the gauge cluster, why does this one look infinitely better than the nonsense they put in the Toyota Rush? For a car that's lesser than the Rush in every way. You even get some nice startup animations. Toyota, why? Why would you do that? The small screen in the center shows plenty of information, most of it in Japanese, but you get the general idea the more you play around with it. Now, just like with the Range Rover, I didn't get a chance to drive this car the next day. By the time I came back, it was already gone. But remember how I mentioned that it shares its platform with the Toyota Aqua? That means that they drive more or less the same. And if you want to know what that feels like, check out my Toyota Aqua video and jump to the 12-minute, 12-second mark.